Hi friends, welcome to Read Around the World with Stacy. Today we're going to read Moana 2. Well friends, before we start, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Ever since the great wayfinder, Moana voyaged to save the heart of Te Fiti. She had been exploring new shores in a search of other people. During one journey, she found a piece of pottery unlike anything she had ever seen on Motunui. She excitedly picked it up and dashed it to her canoe. "Let's go home," she told her animal friends, Pua and Hei Hei. They sailed through the night, and when Motunui came into view, Moana smiled. "We're back," she announced. Chief Tui and Sina proudly welcomed their daughter home. Moana's sister, Semia, leapt into her arms shouting, "Big sis!" Moana dreamed of sharing the entire ocean with Semia one day. Moana showed Chief Tui the piece of pottery she had discovered. "It's proof," she explained. "It means there are other people out there." That night, Moana had a strange vision of Tautui Vas, her legendary ancestor, called on Moana to find an island in the far sea called Matufitu, where all the ocean's people had once gathered. A jealous god had cursed the island so that no one could find it. The curse would be broken only when a human set foot upon its shores. Moana knew the journey could take a lifetime, but she believed that reconnecting all the people of the sea would help pave the way for Matunui's future. This was her chance to share the entire ocean with Semia. To prepare for her journey, Moana gathered her crew, a canoe maker named Loto, Kele, the farmer, and Monu, the storyteller. The whole village waved goodbye as the voyagers set out in search for Matufitu. After several days at sea, the crew spotted a huge shadow in the distance. "It's Matufitu!" shouted Monu. The crew celebrated. But as the fog cleared, Moana said, "That's no island." It was the Kakamora barge. The last time she had encountered the Kakamora, the coconut-clad warriors had attacked. Moana readied for battle. But to her surprise, the barge raced past them. Then Moana saw something horrible. A giant clam was sucking the barge and everything around it towards its gaping mouth. When Moana's crew and the Kakamora tried to escape, their ropes became tangled on an underwater reef. While deciding what to do next, Moana learned that the Kakamora were trying to get back to their home, which was not far from Matufitu. So the two groups agreed to work together to defeat the monster clam and find the lost island. Moana aimed one of the Kakamora's toxic spears at the center of the clam, but the reef suddenly cracked, causing the canoe to jerk, and Moana lost her balance. The canoe and the Kakamora barge inched closer and closer to the monster clam. Just as the two vessels were about to be swallowed whole, Kotu, the Kakamora's chief son, swooped in and hit the giant mollusk with his spear. The poison worked quickly, making the clam shudder and begin to close. The strong current pulled the vessel towards the monster gullet. Moana tried to tow the canoe to safety using a rope tied to the Kakamora barge, but then Kotu cut the rope to save the Kakamora, and Moana's canoe was sucked into the clam just before its shell slammed shut. As the canoe plummeted through the clam's chambers, Moana fell off it and tumbled out of sight. The crew members landed safely in a trash heap, but they were worried about Moana. Soon the crew heard a familiar voice. "Can I get a chee-hoo?" "Maui?" said Monu, amazed. He had always dreamed of meeting the demigod who had helped Moana on her mission to restore the heart of Te Fiti. Maui warned the crew to stay away from the scary bat lady who had trapped him inside the clam. They helped free him, and he boarded the canoe to help search for Moana. Alone in a dark chamber, Moana swatted at some swarming bats. Suddenly, a demigod named Matangi appeared, startling her. "Relax," said Matangi. "I don't bite." She told Moana that to find her way, she had to get lost first. But when Moana took her advice, she ended up trapped inside a shimmering pearl. Maui and the crew arrived just as Moana had discovered a hidden portal. When she opened it, the pearl exploded. Moana and her friends were whisked through the portal on their canoe. As they traveled through a strange tunnel, Maui warned Moana that finding Matufitu would be harder than she thought. The god's curse had sunken Matufitu to the bottom of the sea to prevent any human from reaching its shores, which means a demigod had to raise it, he explained. The canoe finally burst through a whirlpool in the far sea. Despite Maui's warnings, Moana remained determined to find Matufitu and break the curse. As Moana and her crew sailed towards Matufitu, they encountered a storm so fierce it could only have been created by an angry god. The storm attacked the canoe with its tentacled-like arms. Moana soon realized that the storm was targeting her. She came up with a plan. "We can distract it while Maui lifts the island." Everyone agreed, and they sprang into action. The storm chased Moana's canoe, leaving Maui a clear path to Matufitu. He plunged into the sea and used his hook to pull the island from the ocean floor. But then the storm suddenly turned towards Maui and tossed him aside. Moana knew it was up to her to break the curse. She dove into the ocean and swam towards the sunken island. With the last of her strength, Moana reached Matufitu and placed her hand on the island. The curse was broken! Together, Moana and Maui raised the island. Moana blew into a conch, sending a signal across the ocean that Matufitu had been found. Soon, wayfinders from distant shores arrived. Moana was happy she could bring the people of the ocean together again. Now Moana could share the entire ocean with Semia and the people of Matanui. With distant shores to explore and new people to meet, Moana was ready for her next adventure. Thank you for joining Read Around the World with Stacy. Come back for more. Now don't forget to subscribe and like. Bye!